fishing news is sponsored by these fine partners.
It's February 10th, just 19 days left to go before New Jersey's Back Bay striper season reopens. Hallelujah. Jim Hutchinson with a New Jersey Delaware Bay edition of the Fisherman magazine, and that big run on bloodworms is just a little more than 2 weeks out. Those delectable soft baits, pricey as they are, but they are priceless for spring striper success here in the Garden State come March 1st. So let's start that off by saying, in addition to the bloods, you may need some finessence, some sandworm, bloodworm, bunker, cheddar oil to dose those big worm balls. Well, I'll tell you what, this Saturday, February 12th, the Tackle Box in Hazlitt will host their annual super sale, wall-to-wall savings, 30% off trolling mojos, umbrella rigs, bunker spoons, 20% off rods and reels, including St. Croix discontinued Mojo surf rods. Many models 25% off. All plugs, lures, bucktails, jigs, rigs, and gulp. Huge savings. That's from 9 a.m. till 4 p.m. this Saturday at the Tackle Box in Hazlitt. And of course, you can pick up your finessence there as well. And again, dosing those bloodworms is a highly effective way of scoring some of those March 1st stripers. Phil and the crew at the Tackle Box, of course, are piggybacking, or maybe piggy banking, on the Highmarsh Striper Club's annual event. That's at the Veterans Post 2179 in Port Monmouth on Saturday. The Highmarsh Striper Club's annual Fisherman's Flea Market is from 8 until 2 on Saturday. It features seminars from Anthony Maja Arcabasio, Captain Jimmy Frida's talking tuna from Shore Catch Guide Service, and also the Zagorski boys talking tog. Be sure to ask Joe Zagorski for some of his personal numbers. That'll be fun. Hey, if you're down in Southern Ocean County in the Manahawkin area, you've got the Southern Regional High School Fishing Show. That's from 8 a.m. till 2 p.m. this Saturday. Not at the high school, that's at Southern Regional Middle School there on Cedar Bridge Road. It is just $4 for entry for adults. Children are admitted free. While you're there in the Southern Regional area, make sure you look for some of those signs of businesses displaying the Clark Harris signs. Yes, my boy, my bro. He'll be doing the long snap duties on Sunday at the Super Bowl for the Bengals and a Southern alum. Hooday, baby. On the catching front, there's not too much to talk about, but Blackfish continues in the Garden State, also down in Delaware, but fewer and fewer boats are sailing at this point in February. However, the Ocean Explorer out of Belmar continues to make runs in search of jumbo tautog. In fact, the current monthly pool winner is going to be a tough one to beat. It was taken on Monday. Giacomo here, aka the Pizza Man, he landed a 15.9-pound jumbo blackfish on the Ocean Explorer out of Belmar to start this week. Big fish. In fact, I spoke with Bobby at Fisherman's Den over the weekend. He said, yeah, while the Ocean Explorer is one of the only party boats really running right now, but look for the big Mohawk. I think she was going to choose some appropriate weather windows. But right now, on a regular basis, the Ocean Explorer is heading out, and Bobby at Fisherman's Den said there was a 14-pounder on that boat last week. So they're dialed into some big fish at this point. The other thing that Bobby said is he's hearing a lot of about the white perch action, especially when you get down into Ocean County. And Bobby said the one thing everybody's talking about is those bycatch stripers. Of course, it's shut down January and February, but a lot of folks are stumbling onto striped bass while they're perching. That's a lot to be said there in the Toms River in particular. But if you're looking for targeting striped bass, you can't even target them in the back bays in New Jersey, but you can out front. I spoke to Jason at Fisherman's Supply on Monday. He said, believe it or not, some guys are picking and choosing their days. They're going out with soft plastics, teasers, and a nice slow retrieve, and they're picking up a couple of stripers on those front beaches where you're allowed to continue to catch striped bass 365 days a year here at the Jersey Shore. Also in the Manasquan area, you have the Big Jamaica. She's set to sail on Friday at 11 p.m. in search of jumbo porgies, cod, pollock, and yes, even a handful of weakfish on those offshore trips as well. The last I checked, there was space available on Friday night's trip, leaving at 11 o'clock at night. you can go to bigjamaica.com for details. And of course, there are other boats still sailing in ports throughout New Jersey, especially in Shark River and Manasquan in particular. Not too much to report in other locations in the state, where it's almost like if you go down into South Jersey, it's rolling up the sidewalks. But if you're looking for some boats and what they're doing, I do advise you to pick up the February edition of the Fisherman magazine. Our advertisers, our for hire boats, our tackle shops advertise the year round. And if you turn to the report section in the middle of this month's edition of the Fisherman magazine, you will see some of those ads. You'll see some of those boats, and they will list their winter sailing schedule. But we're quickly approaching a better time of year, just a few more weeks to go before we're into March 1st. Now, I mentioned the perch action earlier, and that's a good option for light tackle anglers looking to get out. Their boats are kept in the boat in dry dock at this point, but you can get out along the banks, shake the cobwebs. I spoke to David, Absecon-based sportsman. Actually, he posted this week that he had a line of perch fishermen waiting at Absecon Bay for Mr. Bloodworm guy this week. Dave said if he has that constant blood market that continues with the perching all the way up until the start of the striper season on March 1st, he will continue to keep the wormmobile ever present in the lot there and in Absecon. And if you're looking for spots, of course you want to kind of prospect in areas slightly brackish, Bass River, other tributaries off the Mullica, maybe the Great Egg down to Morris, and of course you have all those tributaries leading in and out of Delaware, Delaware Bay and the Delaware River on both the New Jersey and Delaware side. Again, if you want some more details on some tactical stuff for catching white perch, pick up that February edition of the Fisherman magazine. Other than that, things are very, very quiet in the tri-state region at this point. I will tell you that I have been putting the finishing touches on a pretty massive seminar lineup for next week's New Jersey Boat Sale and Expo in Edison, and also the Philadelphia Fishing Show. We've got over 60 seminars slotted between those two shows at two separate venues in two different states. If you want to find out who's speaking where and when, you can go to phillyfishingshow.com for the Oaks, PA event, or go to jerseyboatexpo.com for all the details in Edison. I will see you at one of those shows, I'm sure. And I'll say, well, tell you what we'll do. We're going to broadcast next week's video forecast from Edison as we set up that show on Wednesday. Ice fishing is keeping a lot of folks happy in the Garden State, especially as you get into the northwest portion of the Garden State. Spoke to Lori at Dow's Boat Rentals in Lake Apatcong on Monday. She said it's mostly solid 8 to 10 inches of ice right near the shop and out by the state park as well. Also making some phone calls this week for fishing reports at thefisherman.com. Joe at Fairfield Fishing Tackle, he said they're just going bonkers with people buying ice fishing equipment. It's one of those things that happens, people aren't going to go out and buy augers and everything they need unless the ice is there. Joe ran out of augers at Fairfield, but he tells me he's got some more coming in this week. So if you're looking to tackle the ice fishing arena, head into Fairfield Fishing Tackle, not just for the augers and gear, but you also have baits like mousies, mealworms, regular worms, whatever you need. For more on the freshwater side of things, let's check in with my friend George, the Pocono Outdoors guy.
Well, hey, thanks, Jim. You know, conditions are changing quickly. Amazing what just a week makes. We're already starting to lose some ice here at Beltsville, believe it or not. Got some open water here right behind me. If you guys are heading out on that hard water, be sure you play it safe. Lakes like this, you got plenty of ice at one end and open water at the other. So things will change quick. Be sure you always check your ice as you head out on the lake. Now, just there are still guys out catching fish. You know, I checked in with the guy, Mike Swingle. He was up at Wallam Pond Pack getting some beautiful brown trout through the ice. That's a great way to spend a day heading for those browns. But you also have the creeks and streams, you know, they're still open. And Justin Lerner back at it again on those streams, getting some brown trout over in New Jersey on those open water creeks as well. So lots of good fishing. Again, play it safe, guys. We only have a few more weeks here. We'll be talking about the opening of trout and even some shad coming in. You know, guys are already starting to talk about, are they in the river yet? But we'll have the shad watch coming up in a few weeks, guys, so stay tuned for that. All right, but for now, be safe getting out in that hard water. From Pennsylvania, I'm George, your Pocono Outdoors guy.
Now, I know everyone's anxious to find out about what's going on with black sea bass and summer flounder in the Garden State in 2022. Well, the Mid-Atlantic Fishery Management Council met earlier this week. I don't really have an update on that for you right now, but what I will tell you is New Jersey anglers can expect to learn more on March 3rd when the New Jersey Marine Fisheries Council meets again. I doubt it's going to be an in-person meeting. Everything has been online at this point. But whatever shakes out of this week's Mid-Atlantic Fishery Management Council meeting, you will find out about as a final when we sit down and review this on March 3rd. Of course, we talked last week about the Atlantic States Marine Fisheries Commission and the striped bass public information document. We posted more on that earlier this week at thefisherman.com. You can go there for the main story, but you can also go to asmfc.org to download that PDF file and take a look at all the things that are in the public comment document. Some of those ideas at this point include the potential for time and area closures. Yeah, closing down the striped bass fishery in total for certain parts of the year. Similar to, I guess, what we have in the Back Bay in New Jersey, but this option probably would be geared towards when some of those stripers were thickest, like in March, in April. So you can go to asmfc.org about that. In terms of black sea bass, getting back to that, I would expect we're going to see a little bag limit drop, size increase, slight size increase for black sea bass in New Jersey in 2022. Wouldn't be surprised if we lose that two-fish fishery in the summer. I'm not sure. It certainly can't be as bad as what the guys in Michigan are dealing with in the sturgeon fishery. I saw on the news this week where the Black Lake sturgeon fishery in Sheboygan County, Michigan lasted just 36 minutes. That's like the run on Scabelli plugs at Grumpy's this past Saturday. Hey, if you're a Delawarean looking to get involved in the fun and exciting world of fisheries management, the DNREC there in Delaware is looking for new council candidates. For details on becoming a Mid-Atlantic Fishery Management Council representative from the great state of Delaware, call 302-739-9914. And in New Jersey, if you missed out on the mobile surf fishing permits at Island Beach State Park, you do have another secondary option. The weekday-only mobile sport fishing vehicle permits will be available starting April 1st. That's weekdays only, but it will become available on April 1st. You can bookmark your pass now /parkpass/NJ for details on that. Also find it on Facebook. If you go to the Island Beach State Park Facebook page, you will find that. Finally, I try to stay on top of the YouTube messages that we get each week here at the Video Fishing Forecast. And true, there are some comments and questions that I simply don't understand. But folks have been asking me if I'm going to the Super Bowl in LA on Sunday to root on my brother Clark. The answer is no. I'm staying home with the rest of my family, brothers and sisters and close family friends, and watching it at a secret location someplace in Manahawkin, a special soiree of sorts. But the question, don't players get free tickets? Well, they do. The short answer is yes, but they only get 2. So Clark got 2 free tickets, and then they're limited in the number of extra tickets they can purchase. In addition to that, roughly about 10 additional tickets. The price, Clark's price for tickets, $4,000 a piece. Yeah, so if you think I'm getting a $4,000 ticket, $8,000 for my wife and I to go to LA to watch the Super Bowl, no football game, I don't think is that important to me. So instead, I took that money, spent about $450 of that, and bought a brand new leaning post off of Facebook Marketplace from a guy in Waretown. Thanks again, Jake. And heads up to the folks at Chestnut Neck Boatyard. That is going to have to be installed, and I'm hoping it's not going to cost anywhere close to the $7,550 surplus I've saved by staying home on Sunday just to install this correctly. I will see you soon about that, George. Hey, sharpen those circle hooks, boys and girls. We are just 19 days away from the start of the Back Bay striper fishery in New Jersey for 2022. And as far as I'm concerned, that is the first day of spring. Hang in there, we're getting close. I'll see you again next week right here at thefisherman.com.
Steigercraft boats, built by people who fish our waters. Serious anglers choose Steigercraft for their 40 years of boat building experience right here in the Northeast and Mid-Atlantic. Visit steigercraft.com for a dealer near you.